Good evening. You are live with me, Tanya Abreu, with Rethink Your Health. We are dedicated to making health ridiculously easy and getting healthier, fun and supportive and communal, and not at all about feeling guilty or, having to deny yourself or any of those things. We're really about how to use our brain to be happier, how to use our brain to set back our biological clocks, how to use our brain to solve our pain. Interestingly enough, next week on June, I guess, 28th, our guest will be Dr. Alba Rodriguez. And that's exactly the name of our broadcast, which will be Use Your Brain to Stop the Pain. Everything that we are faced with in life, every health problem, every mental crisis has an answer, has a humanity, kindness, compassionate response. One of the reasons that I mean, literally, with my full heart, love our guest tonight, is that she believes that medicine is about first, compassion, second, service, and third, all the other technical stuff. She herself is a doctor of nursing. She's a nurse practitioner. And I always get that wrong. I'll let her introduce the credentials, but it's fabulous. She spent decades serving as a nurse, serving her community, serving her patients, and becoming, through all of that service and all of that healing, becoming whole and of integrity herself. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Victoria Proctor in just a moment. But before I do that, oh my gosh, we have so many people. We are actually on 5 different social media platforms now. And they switch on and off. So you'll see some confusing things sometimes that happen. But we're very excited because in total, we're getting a couple hundred. This is 33. I said it was 33 last week, but it's 33 this week. And I wanted to let you know that we are archiving these podcasts in 2 places. The first one is Muscadine Global, which is one of our sponsors. It's Must Natural, a very simple muscadine grape derived approach to having all of your antioxidants in one pill every day. And then we just launched our Rethink Your Health channel. And if you look here on the right-hand side, I'm going to show it on the screen. That's where we are. But if you go YouTube, Rethink with a UR Health, you will also find it. And so you'll find Dr. Proctor there tomorrow. You'll find Tammy Workman Lopez and Ralph Campbell there. So we're real excited to be able to archive these amazing holistic thinkers that are really disrupting what we think about as healthcare. Please, I can see all of, whether you're on LinkedIn or whether you're on Facebook, I can see the comments coming in. So please put them in there, even if they're just hello from California. It's nice to see that you're here. I'm going to introduce Victoria Proctor now. And I'm going to introduce her first without her live, because this is the kind of stuff that she does that makes her one of the most amazing healthcare providers I have ever met in my life. And I have worked with thousands. I have 35 years experience with marketing women's health through hospitals, physician practices. And I can say without hesitation that Victoria Proctor defines the future of what personalized healthcare can be. And I am going to show you exactly what I mean. I was skimming through Facebook the other day, and I was blessed, really blessed to see, okay, let me share. Not this one, go back. To see this picture. I think everyone can see it, yes? This is Dr. Proctor on the right and her patient on the left. When we talk about integrated healthcare, we know that eating eating foods that feed us like medicine are central and essential to our health. Dr. Proctor has a garden in the in the city of Baltimore that rivals most of small urban farms outside of cities. Amazing what she has in a small, narrow, beautiful backyard. And she does it because she walks the talk of health. And what we eat determines what we feel physically. And in this picture, and I'm introducing Dr. Victoria Proctor this way, she harvested, of course, I think that's kale and that might be onions or leeks. And she went to her patient's place of work and delivered it to her and said, do me a favor, cook this up. We know how hard you're working on your health. And then send me some pics of what you did. And you can see those kales on the side, but I'm going to let Victoria introduce herself, but I wanted to give her my utmost respect, my true admiration before she came live on the screen. So, without further ado, here she is, Dr. Proctor. Welcome to Rethink Your Health.
Hey, why you gotta tell all my secrets? why you gotta tell them? Why you gotta tell them my secrets? Tanya, why you gotta let them know my secrets?
Well,
First
because
of all,
we have to change healthcare in America. We need more Victorias.
Okay, well, see, she didn't tell the truth. She said Baltimore City. Well, that's not the problem. I live in Baltimore County. I live in Catonsville. I don't live in the city. But Tanya failed to mention that I really live on 25 acres. Okay, 25 acres, folks.
What?
She really didn't lie. It's in my mind that I live on 25 acres, but she's correct. I have a backyard that's all of maybe 25 feet in length. Okay, in length, but only 2.5 feet in width on two sides that I grow. And then I have these beds, these flower beds in the middle where I farm like I'm living on 25 acres. So I tell people I live on 25 acres in the country in my mind. But yes, she's right. It's my backyard, but I am in Baltimore County in Catonsville. And Tanya, thank you so much for this. Thank you for the opportunity.
Can you give us your introduction? I'm going to get off the screen because I want people to see your beautiful smiling face. And I want you to tell people why you got into nursing. Ooh. And what you're doing right now in your career. And then I'll jump back on and bother you.
Okay, how much time do I have? 2 hours? 3?
No. Do about 5, and then we'll
okay. I'll tell you about how I got into nursing. I'll tell you my journey as quickly as I can. And you know me, I can be long-winded, so just come in and tell me to cut it out in 30 seconds, okay? Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, my name is Dr. Victoria Proctor. I'm actually a nurse practitioner, family nurse practitioner. I have my doctorate in nursing. I'm a doctor of nursing practice, which is basically the highest clinical degree you can get in nursing. And I have been a nurse since 1992. So I'm going into my 30th year in the nursing profession. And since I was 14 years old, I've been literally working in the medical field. I was the youngest volunteer at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland, to ever be assigned to the operating room, the Wilmer, world-renowned Wilmer OR, Wilmer Eye Institute. I was the youngest volunteer to ever be allowed to work in the Wilmer OR. I was 14. And I was also the youngest volunteer to continue to have that assignment every summer. So I was in Wilmer OR. I was in the OBGYN OR from 15, 16, and 17, because I always loved medicine. I really thought I was going to go to school to become a pediatrician. But life happened. So, but I've been into healthcare and been interested in it all my life. And when I was 5 years old, I told my mother I wanted to be a baby doctor and a mommy. So I guess I was an old spirit, old soul, always loved children, always wanted to take care of kids. And so fast forward my life, my education, I was really thinking about going to medical school, and I decided it was one of the good ways to do this was to go to nursing school first. You might not think that, right? Well, I had already graduated with my undergraduate in psychology and biology from Frostburg State, and again, still contemplating medical school, and that has a lot to do with my background of why I didn't have the confidence. If we have time, or Tanya wants to talk about that, we can get into that later. So anyway, I went through the accelerated program at Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing. So it was a 13-month Bachelor's of Science program. So it was really intense, but I decided to do that and then work on weekends so that I could go to one of those year prep schools to get the chemistry and the calculus and organic in a year. And then I was going to apply to medical school. So I needed to make an income while I paid for this program. And that's life, right? That, life happens when you make plans. So in the midst of all of that, life happened. And so I fell in love with pediatric nursing, fell in love with the kids that I worked with at Kennedy Krieger Institute in Baltimore. I had the most amazing staff. I found my niche, and I fell in love with my babies. It was Kennedy Krieger's a rehab, a pretty well-known rehab institute. And I just had the best kids. So my heart found its home. And I've always cared about giving good care. It's just my nature. So that's what started this journey. That's why I ended up going to nursing school. Literally, that was the reason.
And right now, you work for another healthcare provider, but you're beginning to stake your own roots, right? To really plant your own seeds. And if those of you see that I put up on the screen, Vital FNP. And what does the F stand for again?
Family Nurse Practitioner, FNP.
Yes, Vital FNP. And it's a beautiful website that I love it, that begins to talk about a journey to your physical health is a journey to your true self. Yeah. What the heck does that mean?
Well, it's because, I was on a journey. I mean, think about, you might know some of my story. I've done talks for you, Tanya. And, remember the first slide that came up when we were in Florida? It was a picture of Bed-Stuy, project picture of New York. Remember, I had that picture up. Mm-hmm. That's where I started. That's where my journey began. I feel like my neck is twisted. I'm trying to get this camera right so I can feel like I'm sitting here and not twisted.
But anyway, it's your energy that's coming through.
Anyway, I grew up in the projects of Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in Bed-Stuy. Okay, we say Bed-Stuy, do or die. I grew up in the projects, 3rd floor, 322 Bainbridge Street. To a single mom. My father died when I was 3 weeks old, less than 3 weeks. I was born on the 4th of December. My father, bless his heart, died on the 1st of that year. He was the love of my mother's life. He wanted one thing was to see me and hold me once before he passed on. And I believe I was told that he got that wish and then he died. So I grew up in the hood. No mistake. In the 70s. Okay. Mid 60s, 70s. I grew up in the heroin. I grew up when eating pomegranate was not a plush thing and an entitled thing. It's what we did because the guys on the horse would come through the neighborhood and we just get a pomegranate and peel it, eat its seeds and all. So y'all a little late on that one. We were doing that back in the hood in the 70s. And that's for real, along with pig feet and chitlins and pigtails. Kool-Aid is what we drank. Water wasn't an issue. We had Wonder Bread. And so that was my life. I loved it. Collard greens, cooked fat back, greased up. Awesome. And then, we moved to Maryland. Life happened. Life changed. I was discovered as an athlete quite young. Actually, when I was in 5th grade, I could beat everybody broad jumping. No matter how many kids they brought out, I could beat everybody, including the boys. And then we moved to Washington, D.C. I lived in Southeast for a while. My gym teacher saw me run. And then they made me run against everybody that they could find. And I could beat everybody and I beat all the boys. So that led to one thing. He came to my mother, said, I think Vicky, I was Vicky at the time. My family still calls me Vicky. I think your daughter has incredible potential. He came in to our apartment on Mississippi Avenue, and which is now gentrified big time and plush, but it was a little hood place for people who couldn't afford but so much. And he says, I think your daughter has incredible talent. And he thought I could actually make the Junior Olympics, and he wanted to train me. So that's where my athletic life started, was at that point fully in the 7th grade, Johnson Junior High School, Southeast in Washington, D.C. And then I just got better and better. I competed in high school, junior high school. When we moved back to Baltimore, I competed in college. I am like a 9-time All-American in track and field.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Record holder still to this day. I had the baddest relay team ever at a Division III. I was nominated and unanimously chosen as the most outstanding runner for 3 years in a row by my teammates. I got inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame at Frostburg in 2011, which is truly the greatest honor in my life. Greater than getting my doctorate degree was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, because I truly earned that and I deserved it. And that's the one thing I can truly say. So,
but I want to stop you, and I want to say that passion and energy for athletics is what I see in you for the whole concept of integrated health. And I want to, before we get too close into our half of our program, I want you to tell everyone your definition of what integrative medicine, an integrated approach to healthcare is, and why we should pay attention to it.
Well, okay, but let me just sum this up, because this truly does lead to that. It's like, so in college, I couldn't eat the meat because it didn't look like meat. And I was a meat eater. So I became a vegetarian my freshman year because I told my mother, this is not how meat is supposed to look. It's not supposed to look tan. It's supposed to be brown. So I had a problem with the food. So I literally became a vegetarian at 18 by default, not because I wanted to. So I lived off of cereal. And my mother started giving me tuna fish because I couldn't eat, but I was a big athlete and I needed to eat. So I realized that meat wasn't my friend, or at least the college meat wasn't. And then as time went on, I maintained that vegetarian lifestyle. But at the same time, I didn't have a real strong sense of who I was, emotionally, mentally, physically, or anything. My own issues of relationships, not feeling good enough because of aspects of my life, being bald, having alopecia, you name it, being a lesbian, you name it. All of these things I had issues with. So I had no confidence in myself. The outside was saying one thing, but the inside was a scared little kid. So that's kind of how I went into my adult life. Okay. And then I was just blessed to meet a woman by the name of Susan Lord. I used to say, oh, Lord, how I love you, because I do, because she introduced me to integrative health. I saw this woman put this picture on the screen that said all these names. She says, if anybody can tell me this, I'll give you a scholarship to Food is Medicine. And this is where it happened. And I'm like, all of these words, I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, God, I want to go to this Food is Medicine thing. What is that? So she was so amazing that I just went down. I said, I didn't know what that was, but if that person if she doesn't come, can I come take her place? That's how bold I was. It turns out that the woman wanted it, but she said, who are you? And I told her my story. She says, I'll give you a week admission. So I got to go to Food is Medicine in Baltimore. And that changed my entire life. So that's how it happened, literally.
Nice.
I go to this Food is Medicine. Food is Medicine. And they're talking about mind, body, spirit. What the heck? Meditation, yoga, all of this other stuff. And I'm like, oh okay. So, it kind of organically happened. I I graduated with my master's in exercise physiology. And then after that, I took a hiatus to India because I wanted to meditate and be in meditation caves. I wanted to evolve. So it was just one thing led to another. I came back from India, became a massage therapist, opened up Victoria's Touch of Life, da 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 da. And I kept saying, there's more to medicine and holistic. There's more to medicine and health than just the absence of disease. Because you can still be holistic, you can still be healthy with disease. You can still have amazing health with your own issues. But I couldn't figure it out. So it was a journey. It was Food is Medicine. And then I got certified in mind body medicine by the Center for Mind Body Medicine that also does Food is Medicine. And I got really close to Dr. James Gordon, who's the founder of the Center for Mind Body Medicine in Washington, D.C., and they all took me under their wing. And so they taught me this. So, and I'm thinking, do I deserve this? Because it was always about deserving because of my background. And I never felt like I was there. I'm like, oh, maybe I don't really fit in. I was always the Black person, only Black person, one of two, never around other people of my own color. So that started that process too. And then I started thinking, we need this stuff. You feel where I'm going, Tanya?
Yeah, absolutely.
This information. We need to know that there's more to health than taking a pill. We need to know, as Black people and women of color, that meditation really can lower your blood pressure. Okay, that just backing off of your salt shaker can lower your blood pressure, and you don't have to do anything else. Just reading a label can change your life. We needed this information.
And so you're in the center of it, right? Nobody has
like learning all of this stuff, but I didn't know how to pull it together. But it just kept happening. And then the grand slam came when someone saw my resume on some website for Maryland, and this doctor called me and said, I need you. Basically, it's literally what he said. I didn't even know who he was. So he took me to University of Maryland. I became an integrative medicine RN. Okay. And I learned about natural treatments for pain management because that's what he hired me to do. I have this device. I saw it at Walter Reed. Cranial electrical stimulation.
For pain.
For pain management, anxiety, depression, and stress. What the crap is this? And I need somebody to learn it, teach it to the hospital. We're going to do a pilot study. I'm like, okay, I need a job. I'll take it. Well, I didn't expect what happened to happen. Everything changed. I started doing this pilot project, clueless as to what I was doing, clueless. But I just kept at it and nobody believed me. I wasn't getting consults. And the next thing you know, somebody must have said something to some doctor and it blew up. A patient got off of medication, some narcotics because of it. And the doctors started hearing their patients saying, I want to see the lady in purple. I love purple. It's my favorite color. Shades of purple, actually. I love lavender the most and burnt orange. So I put my orange and purple, like my website, my background, my bed, my room is purple. It's very spiritual. Amethyst is a spirit color. So see, my life started evolving even before I knew it was evolving. Okay. Because I'm still not feeling great about myself at this point in time, believe it or not. Okay. I'm not appreciating who I am. I'm giving, but I don't appreciate my own greatness. And I can talk the talk, but I wasn't really walking the walk because I was smoking and drinking and you name it. I was doing a lot of stuff, still being healthy though, so to speak. Right. I wasn't really walking the walk. I'm always keeping it real, though I try. So, life continued to happen. Next thing you know, the doctors are like, so-and-so wants to see you. And what's this thing about? And all of a sudden they became interested in my natural treatment because medicine and pharmaceutical companies, well, they don't make anything. Okay. They think it's hogwash because they can't control it, make the drug out of it. But, natural medicine, you say that, that stuff doesn't work. Well, you tell this to somebody who's hooked on oxycodone, and I got them off of oxycodone in less than a week. Okay. So, and the nurse couldn't believe it. She's like, he hasn't asked for this all day ever since you've been seeing him. I said, well, and I didn't even know what I was doing at that point. It hadn't clicked. I was just doing the steps, I was just following the procedures. So I was being amazed every time I did this treatment. So the doctors went, well, I'd like to learn about this. So I developed a consult service for the hospital. And then that led to EHR, electronic health records, coming into play. And then they're like, the president, can you do a meditation class for the staff? We're introducing EHR and everybody's frantic. And I'm like, sure, I'm happy to. So I did it on every shift, even the night shift. Came in 3 o'clock in the morning and did meditation for the night nurses. And then it just kept, hooking on. Then I got into compassion fatigue and starting to do things for nurses. And even before that, Tanya, I met you, if you recall.
Yeah, I do. So I remember that whole compassion for nurses and compassion.
Yeah, but if I got to stop now. So whatever we lose in the end is fine. But let me back this bus up. It's Tanya that really hit me over the head in a different way. Big time hit me over the head, because it's because of you that I'm rolling for Saturday. FY to the I. Let me give my sister some credit here. So in this point, I'm at another hospital, and I heard this thing called Spirit of Women. I was told that I had to figure it out, be a part of something. I'm new. Woo! That's a story, but we can't go into that. Let me tell you the positive side to that story. I met this woman right here, Miss Tanya, Queen Tanya. Okay. And she was running this thing that was huge. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of people, women from all over, talking about this thing called Spirit of Women in Healthcare. What's up with this? Healthcare, spirits in healthcare? So Tanya had this way about her and how health can be presented. So as a result of Tanya and Spirit of Women, which we bought into, I did all these health events for the hospital with the model, remember?
Oh, and so you were my best.
That's right. It was the Spirit of Women's model that I used for those years at this particular institution. It was off the chain insane because I had the community come in, and the community where I was at the time was predominantly Black people. So I love the mixture. I love that there were more Blacks than whites. Loved it. Let's keep it real. I love people of color because we're the ones that are driving the statistics that we should not be driving. Okay. Amen. We're the ones driving these statistics that keep everybody employed. But I want all of us to be unemployed because I want to be at the bottom of the barrel. So I was really happy to see so many women of color there and this kind of fun with health stuff. You know, I learned it from Spirit of Women. And you were the sister who were driving that. So I have to pay homage and humility to you. I mean, I bow to you for that because you opened up a different world for me. And because of you, I took that to this hospital, University of Maryland, became the integrative medicine nurse. Then I decided, hey, you know, I could do this better, this Christmas party. Next to me, let's make a little swing. For spinal cord patients, most of them are paralyzed. But hey, we can make them feel whole and healthy. So I was living it without realizing that I'm impacting everybody's life. I'm impacting mine. Slowly, I'm starting to make changes. But it wasn't coming together. Okay, so with you, you know, my mother died and I lost everything in 2013. What little I gained was gone. I lost everything. I lost my mother. I lost that job. I lost my home. I walked away from my home. I lost everything. Most importantly, I lost my best friend in the process of that. I lost everything. My ex was my best friend. I lost her. I walked away from my house. My mother had just died. I lost my job for no real good reason. I was in a slump, drinking, smoking. This is just 2013, okay? It's not that long ago. I stopped living. And then one day I woke up. And I said, I got to find a way back. And that find a way back happened to me in about 2015. I was down. I didn't like living. I was thinking if I didn't wake up, it was cool. It was good because I'm good. I'm tired. Because after losing my mother, I thought I couldn't lose anything else that mattered to me. Because at the time, my life didn't matter to me that much. And I had a severe back injury that was just getting worse, which made me more depressed than I was because I couldn't move and I couldn't function and I couldn't do anything. So I didn't do nothing for 4 years of my life, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. An MRI showed that my spine was half on, half off. And L4 was half on, half off, protruding forward. I had developed partial paralysis in my right leg when I was doing Spirit Women event. Nobody knew. I was on oxycodone then at the first Spirit event because my pain was so severe. There was no choice but to do that. But nobody knew. I didn't tell anybody. And so this back thing made me immobile. And then in 2016, I went back to the doctor. He says, well, you know what? It hasn't changed. Because I said, I can't live like this. I got to find my way. I didn't say find my way back to my orthopedic. but I'm just depressed. I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm fat, I'm all of this stuff. I used to have an 8-pack. At 44, I had an 8-pack, not a 6. And my body fat was 13%. And here I am, 48 years old, looking like crap. So when he said, listen, live, you'll know when to say uncle about this back. You'll know. And when you say uncle, you'll know it's time for surgery. So I got back to living, started getting in shape again, got my weight down, started eating healthy, went on this tangent to quit smoking. Thank goodness I haven't picked up a cigarette in 6-7 years.
I'm going to stop you for a moment, though, because I think we can kind of derive a truth here. This is a point where you're a nurse, you're helping others on their path to health, and you've kind of reached some kind of ultimatum with yourself. Mm-hmm. And there's a question that I've been asking people that are on this Rethink Your Health journey with me. And that is, at that point that you're describing, kind of getting your mojo back, at that point you could have said, and I would love for you to fill in the blanks. At that point in time, I thought health was blank. And I learned, however, that health is this. Mm-hmm. I thought health was this, yes, but I know health is that.
Absolutely.
Can you answer that?
Yeah, I can finish that easily. I thought health was perfection.
Oh,
I thought health was, but you asking me to tell, right? I thought health was having hair and being pretty. I thought health was absence of disease, so to speak. Not literally, but yeah, that you're not healthy if you're this, and that. I thought health was what they had pumped into my brain in nursing school and what I see in the doctor's offices. That's what I really thought health was. Okay, because if I have alopecia, because I have alopecia since I'm 10, and that ticks me off with all this, the smack that went around the world. I mean, you want to hear a struggle of dealing with alopecia? Please, honey, please. My mother would have been smacking everybody in the world because of the bullying and the ridiculing and the teasing and the humiliation that I had to go through because I was a kid with alopecia. So I didn't think I was healthy because I had that. I didn't think I was healthy because of all my imperfections, my perfect imperfections. And that having high blood pressure means I'm not really healthy, right? And the fact that I'm developing osteoarthritis because I cannot change my genes makes my hands look, so I'm not healthy, because healthy is no disease, absence of disease. Well, that's not true. So that's what I thought it was, okay? But as the doctor said, you probably would have had hypertension in your 20s had you not been so athletic. That you are easily controlled because you are so athletic. And I do believe it's in your genes. Mm-hmm. I thought I'd have diabetes before hypertension, though, because it's so rampant. But I was athletic enough that I held things back. You cannot change your genes, but you can change how they express themselves. That's another topic. But so I'm thinking I'm okay. And there are people like me living every day. I had to learn to eat healthy. I want to teach this. So I developed a list of things that I thought people needed to know in the city, people just like me. That water can help make you healthy. That hypertension, diabetes, chronic diseases, other chronic diseases doesn't mean you're not healthy. It means you have to be healthy with the disease that you have. It means you have to do the best with what you got. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So so I learned that I may not be able to get rid of my hypertension, especially if it's genetic or if it's some kind of chromosome thing just in my genes, not even my parents or my family. It's okay. Mm-hmm. What makes me healthy with a chronic disease is the fact that I take my medicine every single day. I'm not playing with no red yeast or anything. I don't have time to play with my health. You see what I'm saying? But so red yeast might work. And maybe one day I will play with it. But I'm okay taking my medication. See, you have to find a balance.
So what are you defining health as? You thought health was perfection and absence of disease, but now you know it's what?
What is health?
Yeah.
Health is being grateful for the day. Health is living with what you got and making the best of what you have. You have hypertension, you take your medicine, make sure you don't have salt in the cabinet. And if you do, it should be full for the next 20 years because you have nothing but seasonings to use. That's healthy when you have hypertension. It's called not eating the white stuff. That's healthy for me. If you have diabetes, don't eat white anything. You can be healthier with diabetes. That's what health means to me. It means doing the best that you can to manage your life and be as healthy as you're able to be with what you are living with. And that includes mental health. I have a therapist that I have been seeing on and off since I was 21 years old. And many people might say, well, she must not be any good if you're still seeing her. Nah, she saved my life. She is the reason why, in many ways, my village was around me. I didn't know. I didn't call it a village. But I'm humble enough and I'm old enough to look back and see those people who came into my life and showed me how healthy I was. That just because of the way I grew up and the way my life was and the dysfunctional life that I lived, that didn't mean that I was dysfunctional.
Amen.
Okay? It didn't mean just because I experienced X, Y, and Z that I was not a good person. It didn't mean any of those things. And so my therapist taught me that. And it was through learning how mentally sound I really am and how amazing I am through therapy. So you can have issues and be healthy with your issues if you're honest enough with yourself to be real. And to not say I'm working out when working out to you is a foot pedal under the table while you're eating a pork chop and you're pedaling on that pedal thing under your table. No, that's not living right. Okay. That's just being a hypocrite. It's doing what
that's that whole thing about integrity. But
you got to have the integrity for yourself. It's not about having
right. Health comes from the integrity.
It's inside. It's compassion for self.
Right.
It's compassion for self.
You know, I'm going to put up the Vanderbilt. It's an incredible, I think, circle. Let me grab it real quick, and maybe you can comment on it. I just thought it was really powerful to take a look at. Where are we here? Oh my goodness, where is it? Oh, here it is. Share. Oops, sorry.
Oh, by the way, can I just say this? She came to her appointment with me. I didn't go to her. She had an appointment with me at 8 a.m. So I actually came with that to my office knowing she was coming to see me.
Oh, okay. All right. So here's what I put up is this Vanderbilt very cool wheel. And you just said, and this is what triggered me, this idea of compassion being at the center of healthcare. And it's compassionate self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I go to the gym, but I have to be compassionate to myself. The only thing I really like to do is the elliptical and the leg workouts, and then like stretching my shoulders so my neck and back kind of like pop. Everything else, I'm just not interested in, and it's just not fun for me. And I'd rather go walk the wetlands. But you know, it's just like really being honest with yourself, really being compassionate.
It is.
I promised everybody that's logging on that we would kind of give a definition of integrative medicine. Can you do that kind of with this wheel of integrative medicine?
Yeah, I can. What's at the bottom of this? Because there's a gentleman. It looks like Ralph Campbell is your words are. What's it say? Prevention. What at the bottom? I can't see it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this off all together. How do I get this off all together? I am so sorry.
Just tell me what it says at the bottom. Prevention,
medical, and wellness care.
Because that's what I was getting ready to say. I was going to say I could, but I need to see medical because medical is important.
Medical's at the very bottom.
Okay.
Health behaviors at the top.
Okay, so medical is at the bottom. Okay, so now tell me the question again.
The question is, what is integrative medicine, integrative healthcare? And And give us a couple of examples of how to start it. Because if I go to my doctor, who's a wonderful doctor, she's Jamaican, and sometimes she tells me about herbs, but she doesn't know the whole wheel. And how do I approach this?
Yeah, well, in integrative medicine, this is the newest terminology. Okay, it used to be called holistic health, holistic health, complementary medicine, and those kind of things. Integrative medicine is now I think this is going to stick for a while because it's in all the hospitals, and now everybody's developing integrative medicine programs because this next generation, the 30-something, this is what they want. And what is it? It's integrating other modalities to help a person be in this circle that I'm looking at of yours right now. Okay. That's what integrative means. Integration, you're integrating things, right? So you have to have medicine. I will never sit up here and say that no one needs to take a pill or no, it needs to see a doctor. If you believe that, you're not healthy. You don't want to be healthy. You're not being healthy for yourself. You're not showing compassion for yourself. Okay. So integration is taking, say, regular medicine, taking your PCP when you go to your primary care provider, and hopefully he says, your blood pressure's been up a couple of times. But what I want you to do is before I put you on medication, I'm going to give you, depending on the number, 3 to 6 months to get your blood pressure down. Cholesterol, they'll give you about 6. Because even the guidelines say, before you put a patient on medication, try to introduce lifestyle changes. That's called integration. That's integrated. But how many primary care providers today do this? No, they're too quick. They don't even know your name. They're just writing a prescription. Your blood pressure's been up for 3 visits in a row or the past 3 days. Here, start this lisinopril. See you in a couple of 6 months. They don't even have the time to tell you what you need to do. That's degrading something. We want to integrate, right? So if a good provider will tell you, listen, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you X amount of time. I want you to look through your cabinet. I want you to start reading labels. I want you to notice the sugar content. I want you to notice the salt in your refrigerator, in your cabinet, in your food. You are supposed to have less than this much salt. You have hypertension. 2 grams is a daily. I want you at less than a half a gram. That's helping a person. That's integrating, helping them to do what they can. And you know what you need to do? You need to start walking, because I think that also your blood pressure might be related to the fact that you're 30 pounds overweight, 40 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, heck, 5 pounds overweight. Okay. So integrate physical activity. You said what? Your kids are stressing you out? I don't have any kids, but you're a great auntie. I try to be a great auntie to a young man I believe is downstairs right now listening to me, and I hope he is. He's my heart, But it is. I just lost my train of thought when I said that.
I know, because emotions get in the way, right?
But anyway, that's how you integrate.
Talking about stress. The patient's talking about stress.
So you got stress because you're a mother of 5 kids and you can't. You know what? I think meditation would be really great for you. And here's someone who has meditation for mommies. I'm just making this up. Integrate. That's integration. I am so tight. It's all up in my chest to see. Oh, well, we have a massage therapy here. So that a massage therapist, that's integration. So it's taking a holistic approach to your health. So literally integration, integrative medicine is introducing other modalities along with your primary care. Okay.
And the things here in this are like mind-body connection, relationships and community. I just started going to church again. And, my excuse was the kids needed some moral consciousness and stability because we live such an isolated existence anymore. And, Cody's been watching like Stranger Things and stuff on television that just like has no moral compass. And so I said, okay, we'll go to a Christian fellowship church. And I can't believe the value to that community, and it's really not about the doctrine as much as it is about a bunch of people wanting to do really good for each other. And I can see a 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old boy talk about that and be kind of on alert about it. So I look at this wheel that I haven't really paid attention to, and it's about that community. Sleep and rest. I mean, my God, if I don't get 6 hours of sleep, at least 3 nights in a row, life crumbles, and it literally, things start to fall apart in reality.
Absolutely.
Environment, and that's why when I see the pictures of you in your garden, it's like that
My
you have
farm. It's a farm time. It's a farm.
The 25
Farm.
acres.
A big 25-acre farm.
Right. And the food and nourishment, what we're talking about is food as medicine. If we don't get back to the garden, right? I mean, it's like the 70s all over. But if we don't get back to eating simple foods, all of the gifts of long life and medicine will mean like nothing to us.
Well,
Then we've got
that's
movement.
very true. It's very true. And that's how it goes. When I look at this wheel, it's called the Vanderbilt wheel, and I need you to send me this. So I might put this in my PowerPoint for Saturday night. Okay, I'd like to get this.
It's really simple. I love the icons.
Yeah, I'll find it. But let me try to explain this wheel a little differently, if you don't mind. In health coaching, I'm also a health coach, and so in health coaching, we have a similar wheel. Okay, and it's about when you look at this wheel, and I was going to try to do this on Saturday if possible. But this wheel allows you. It's kind of the same thing, except there's just one big wheel that's divided like a pizza pie cut up in a whole bunch of million pieces. Okay. And so each one has just one wheel with slices. So you might see spirit, soul, all of this stuff that you see is all on one wheel. The health behaviors and prevention, the inner wheel, and the dot in the center self. All of that's in one wheel. And so what I do is I have people connect the dots, because what I want to see is how holistic is your life. And what you get to see is like, how if you try to connect the dots with the stars in the sky, you would get these lines going and you can connect them to dot, but there's no star shape. There's no circle. It's just lines connected all over the place. That's what it would look like for people. And the closer you are to the self, the inner line, the more circular your dots are, the more connected you are to the self. The more scraggly it looks going around, like someone cut it up in a cut up circle, but not really a circle, it goes to show the dysfunction. So if you had to go from the self out, 0 being the self, out to 10 being horrible behavior, you would put a dot along the line, and then you would connect those dots to see where you are. It's the same concept here. It's just different. And what we do, we call that primary food, secondary food. I learned this in health coaching. And everybody thinks when I say, what's primary food? Oh, yeah, that's fruit and vegetables. And this, I'm like, anybody else? No, you're both wrong. Everybody's wrong. Primary food is spirit and soul, balance, exercise, environment, living arrangements, religion, whatever, education, social life. That's primary. The secondary is the foods that you put in your mouth. So why is what are you saying here? You can't be healthy on the outside and not be healthy on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be. Okay. So what's more important? If you feel good, if you are happy, healthy, you like your job, you like your education, you're happy with your income, everything's working, food is good, exercise. If all of that's working in your life, it's easy to make changes with secondary stuff. Or many people are already living healthy lives, but it's almost classic. People who have lines everywhere, but they still can connect it, but it looks just like an asteroid just being connected to dots in the sky, because they're miserable. They might be down. I'm sorry, that the outer circle becomes more circle, the inner is less. So if the dots are at 1 for self-care, 2 for education, 3 for environment, that's not good. You want 7, 8, 9 all around, because in the it starts to look more like a circle. But if you're 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you connect the dots, it looks weird. Those people are imbalanced. You're not feeding your primary source. Your food is here. Your food is here. Your food, this is truly my sanctuary. This is my bedroom. I didn't have to do anything to make this look good on camera. Okay. I had to clean up anything. This chair sits like this. I can sit here and this is my peace. This is in my bedroom. Now, the rest of my bedroom ain't all that great, but this is my peace. I love this chair. I bought it just to sit. You have to find your peace. Gardening is my peace. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
That's my whole. That's my whole, because it got me out of my depression. So I had to feed that primary source for me. I'm being so serious. I have over 1,500 plants in my house. And you can walk in my house any time of day and they're all beautifully taken care of, because that's my therapy when I can't afford my therapist. My environment has to reflect me. People walk in my house and say, girl, your house is so peaceful and calm and cool. My nephew, do you ever play music on Vicky? Yeah, once in a while. I love peace and quiet, because my mind and my life was always so chaotic. I had to feed my primary self, because I'm already living it, right? I felt like I was an imposter, though, Tanya. That's going back to the stuff I said before, being a little poor kid from the hood in New York. Okay? I thought I was an imposter. I eat 95% organic all the time. My nephew can tell you. He's like, do you really have to have organic ketchup? I'm like, oh, well, don't use it. It's, yeah, I mean, I may not use it, but that's what I buy.
Can I ask you a question as we're coming to the end of this? And I usually get tired after 45 minutes, but I'm so energized by you. Victoria, I really am. I know. Hey, I'm pulling this all out of you, but this is practice for your big event next weekend.
This is keeping it real. That's another part of being healthy, Tanya. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I was going to be there for you because I got your back, just like you had mine. Yeah. But, you know, again, healthy is being honest and real. Just saying what you say.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to give me, if you're going to say to somebody, let's look at every day of your life as a stage for better health. The very first thing that you said was find a peace place in your life that you can go to every day. Whether you meditate there, you just veg out, you fall asleep there, find that peace. Yeah. The second thing that you said is keep it real. Know the people that got your back, and make sure you got those. Ralph, who's on the call, would call it your circle of 5, the people, the doer, the ride or die kind of people. Yeah. No one thinks about that as healthcare.
But that's just
loyal friends.
Loyal, right? It's all of that. I pride myself on that. I pride myself on saying those things, because that is what healthy is to me. Mm-hmm. It's honesty. It's being truthful. It's not lying. I try to teach my nephew some of these things, and my great nephew. That's integrity. You have to have integrity. Okay? You have to have integrity. That bum on the street who asks you for $1, it's not for me to judge. If I have the dollar, I give it to him, because it's about integrity. Because I gave it in good conscience. Yeah. What he does with that dollar is not my concern. I already got an angel flying somewhere saying, she did a good deed today. She gave the dollar and didn't worry about it. See, I'm not attached to that. The art of detachment is huge. And most of us have no clue what the art of detachment is. Seriously. I learned about it in India. Mm-hmm. I learned about it when I studied Siddha yoga for so many years. I have done my work, Tanya. I have sat in meditation caves for 24 hours, and I mean a cave, and meditated and lost it by myself, because when spirit gets quiet, you think church? Be in a dark cave with no light for 24 hours and see what happens to your spirit. Okay? Yeah. Revolution, evolution, change. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist. I do believe in kindness and compassion to the core. But I believe that I make the changes in my life. I'm not giving it to somebody external or anything external. Mm-hmm. I have the power. The universe created me. Some call the universe God. Some call him Muhammad. Some call him the Bohi tree. Doesn't matter to me. But see, people who are not comfortable in their skin, who can't live authentically, who can't live in their own truth, they want to judge that. I have people who constantly send me, say things, well, God bless you in this, and they all know I'm Buddhist. I don't say anything because I'm not offended. But I'll say Nam Yoho Renge Kyo to other people because that's my, that's what I do. I'm not offended when someone says bless you or wants to share a scripture with me. But I gotta maintain my integrity. I honor you, but hey, here's a wonderful saying for today. So
give me some. This is like so cool. It's like I'm going to make sure I put this podcast out everywhere, and those that are on it, I just see Dr. Ash is on it, future guest as well from Jamaica. Talk about holistic, yeah. But give me 3 things physically I need to do for myself every day to ensure that I can be loyal and giving and compassionate and spiritual. What physical things are important?
Well, in all truth, I just said this to a patient. You have to look yourself in a mirror and look at yourself. Because I think the truth is most of us lie to ourselves, but most people just won't admit it. Again, I just keep it real. Look in the mirror and see what you see. I never really thought I was beautiful, Tanya. Seriously, because I was bald. I used to shave my head. Now I just let it grow because I don't care. Again, integrity for me. That took me 100 years to get to. 100 million years. Since I was 10, I'm good. That's called health for me. Opportunities that I was afraid would never come, and I was scared to try because I look different. I'm bald. No one's going to want me. No one's going to put me on ESPN. Always wanted to do something like that. But look in the mirror, love who you are. You got to figure it out. Because I wouldn't look in the mirror. And I started practicing affirmations. Helen, Louise Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life, Save My Life. Truly, that was the book that turned my life around, and Siddha Yoga meditation. Affirmations, I started saying, you know what, Vic, you really are pretty cool. You're good. So affirmations, look at yourself and see yourself where you are. What can you actually do? Look, what do you want? What do you really want for your life? I don't want to live to be 100. I just don't want to have dementia like my mother, but I can't stop that either. I really can't. Be real with life. But I can do everything I can to keep my brain health as strong as I can. Because if it's going to get me, like diabetes and hypertension, it's going to get me. Be real. So do the best you can to stop and fight everything. I'm going to be as healthy as I can. So drink water every day. Don't worry about Kool-Aid and Coke and ginger ale and all of that diluted juice. Give yourself some just straight up water. 80%, 75% of our body is consisted of water. So if you're not drinking, you're dead. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is you got to move. You have to move. So if you really think that you're going to be healthy and not do anything, well, then just maybe that's, and you're fine. You have, your weight is great. All your labs are perfect and you don't have to do anything, honey. That's nothing but genetics. That's not because you got away with something. It's your genes. That's a rare thing. There are some people who can work out all day and will never get a muscle to come pop up like Popeye. They can eat spinach all day and it won't happen because it's genetic. No, but it's real. I have a girl who runs marathons like crazy. I used to work with her. Maybe she's on this call. She has essential or familial hypertension. She's had it since she was a teenager. She can't do anything about it but take medication for the rest of her life. But she keeps the weight down and she runs still. It doesn't matter if she didn't run and if she gained 100 pounds, she's still going to have this type of hypertension. So she just chooses to do it with the glass half full versus half empty. You have to believe in who you are. You have to look in the mirror and just accept yourself. It doesn't matter if someone else does. I spent my entire life worrying about what everybody else thought of me, from relationships to jobs to friends, you name it. Everybody I worried about except how I felt towards me. Look in the mirror, people. See who you are and embrace it and love it. Drink water and get to moving and question your health care. I get tired of having patients say, well, what are you, well, I don't know. I take that blood pressure pill, that little orange one. I'm like, honey, do you know how many orange pills there are? Come on now, if you want to take medicine, know what your meds are, people. That's integration. It's like taking responsibility for your health. Don't ever go to a doctor and not know your meds. And if you don't, write them down. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Those are the tips.
And I'm sorry, we have to, just because of the way the platforms are, we have to keep to the hour. But I want to say this: Oprah needs to hear you. You need a show within her media complex, because
yo Oprah.
Yo Oprah, I'm telling you, honey, your sense of authenticity, your honesty, your commitment to health really makes me a stronger person, and always has. And just to say, look, here's what you do tomorrow for health. Look in the mirror and know what battles your body's fighting, and be honest with yourself and work on them. And then drink loads of water and move your ass. Sorry, Oprah, but it's just that's what you do. You have been a real joy. You have been a real source of wisdom. I promise you that I'll get this podcast out in as many platforms as I can, and that we will have you back again, that I will make sure that you're a resource for many people going forward. You do so much for absolutely no money and no grandizement or endorsement. You deserve riches. You deserve praise. So on that note, Dr. Proctor, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure everyone that's listened to you, I put up your website a couple of times, but this will be on Rethink Your Health. I'm going to have Dr. Proctor, she doesn't know about this yet, provide some blogs for our new blog, Rethink Your Health. I'm going to, this is the final chapter of my ability to influence. And I want to leave this earth influencing health. I've done it all my life, and I've done it in very restrained ways. And now, thank you, Dr. Proctor, for this next big step forward. Have a beautiful summer solstice.
Thank you. Yes, today is it. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Tanya. It's been my pleasure.
Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.